What is up, my digital dudes? Today I'm bringing you a deck profile over my favorite deck. So today we have Armor Control. It got some new support recently via the Magnamon from Starter Deck 17. I will go ahead and get started, show you what we're working with. For starters, our eggs, we are playing 4 Wanyamon. So I'm not playing the 1 Bukamon because as playing armor, sometimes your stacks are kind of small and you may not have more sources than your opponent's Digimon, so you don't get the jamming. I would rather just have the Wanyamon for the consistent draw. So we play the 4, and that's it. Next up is BT12 Vmon. So this is your best searcher in the deck. It searches any card with free in its traits and a Davis, so it searches for your tamer. It can grab other Vmon, it can grab itself. So definitely your best searcher in the deck. If possible, you want to be playing this instead of digivolving it. That way you can get most value from this Vmon. Next up, we are playing 4 of the promo Vmon. These were from the half decks. And then we have some promos from the movie. This card I also find to be very good. He has an inheritable of when attacking. If this Digimon has 2 or more colors, you draw 1 card, not once per turn. So if you're able to unsuspend and get multiple attacks, you get multiple draws. He also has a once per turn effect of whenever he would digivolve into a Digimon with free in the traits, you may reduce that cost by 1. Next, we have 4 Jamming Vmon. Even though this is a control deck, I still feel like Jamming Vmon is a 4 of for sure. He lets you get in some early aggression. Since you're playing the Wanyamon egg, you're able to have this in the back in your breeding zone and then play a tamer. And when it comes back to you, you can immediately start attacking and start immediately drawing. Since you have jamming, you don't have to worry about dying. So I still think 4 Jamming Vmon is very good. Still love this card. So next we have 2 of the red Vmon. So this one is on play, discard a card with free in the traits from your hand and draw 2 cards. Super amazing searcher. It'll help you dig for your cards that are not searchable, your cards that are not free. It'll help you get to those pieces. You don't want to always be bottom decking everything. So next, moving on to our armors, we do have 4 of the BT8 Magnamon. I still think he's the best armor. He unsuspends when digivolving. He gets huge DP for each armor in your discard pile. We're definitely going to always be playing this card at 4. Next up, we have 4 of the BT13 Magnamon from the Royal Knight set. This one is also good. So has blocker, just like every other Magnamon. Digivolves for 3 from a Vmon, so that's even your red one. He has an alternates effect of when this Digimon would leave the battle area, draw 1 card. Then you may play a Vmon from your hand or from this Digimon's Digivolution cards without paying the cost. So if you have some of those red Vmon or some other Searcher Vmons, you may play those, and then he will get you some extra value whenever he leaves the field. So if your opponent is playing a deck that focuses on DP reduction, usually even if you would Armor Purge, you would still lose the Vmon underneath. However, this Magnamon plays out a new Digimon, so that new Digimon is not affected by the DP reduction that was once in effect, as long as it's not a blanket DP reduction, of course. So good Magnamon, good sticky card. And now for our final level 4s, we have 4 of the new starter deck Magnamon. This card is also very good. He digivolves for 3 from a Vmon. His security effect is D-Digivolve 1 from any Digimon. It can even be your own. And then 1 of your Digimon may Digivolve into this card without paying the Digivolution cost. He has Blocker and Armor Purge. When Digivolving, trash the top Digivolution source of your opponent's Digimon for each of its colors, then return 1 of your opponent's Digimon with no sources to the hand. So he's a miniature Zudomon, Zudomon Ace. Super good card. I'm going to show you later on some very nasty things you can do with this if it's in security. Great card. Super awesome addition to the deck. So now we have some level 5s. We're playing 3 Shakomon. So this card is great. You DNA with it with a blue and a yellow for free. When digivolving, you will recover 1. If you have 5 or fewer security, of course. And then you return 1 of your opponent's Digimon to the hand that its level is equal to or less than your security. So If you can be at your full 5 security, you can DNA into this and then return one of their level 6s to the hand. Very good card. Super good. The new Magnamon is blue and black, so you have to keep that in mind that one of your Magnamon does have to be yellow for you to be able to DNA into this. So next up we have one Chimeramon. He's still good. Still good removal. Board-wide DP reduction if your opponent's going wide. So next, our final 2 level 5s are 2 Zudomon Ace. When Digivolving, take 2 sources out of your opponent's guy and then return a guy with no sources to the hand. So this can really catch people off guard. Magnamon X Antibody. So this card is super defensive. As long as he has a Digimon with armor form and his traits and his sources, or the X Antibody option card, he can redirect any number of attacks. When he would be deleted, you can send him to the top of your security to prevent the deletion. There's some pretty great things we can do with that. I really like that he's our level 6 in this deck when we're playing Zudomon Ace, because, if you have these two on the field, you Digivolve your Zudomon into Magnamon, they delete your Digimon, he goes to security, and then that prevents the deletion, so you still have your Zudomon Ace and you don't overflow. They essentially have to get rid of it twice to get rid of that, to get that overflow. So now some other level 6s. We have 2 Mirage Galgamon. He's a great control card. If your opponent doesn't have an established board with like a big level 5 or 6 and they're not going to go big next turn, they still need to find their pieces, this card will really slow them down and give them a headache. Now our final level 6 headache of the deck is Shadow Seraphimon. Your opponent is scared to check security. They're scared to delete it because it deletes their guy. He is susceptible to being returned to the hand, returned to the deck, something like that. So I do just play him as a one of, but I still think he's a great headache level 6 that your opponent has to think about to get rid of. One level 7 Digimon. That is the Death Xmon. So next we have 2 of the Memory Setter Davis. So he will look for a blue and green Digimon. We don't play any green Digimon, so he's going to grab you a blue Digimon. His name is Davis, so he is searchable by your Searcher Vmon. He searches for your armor pieces and your Vmon. So, good card. And next we have 4 of the movie Promo Davis. The more that I play this Davis, the more that I think it's insane. Start a main phase, gain a memory if you have a Digimon with free and its traits. That's most of the time. He's so much value every turn. Playing 6 Tamers, that way our Magnamon is live. Moving on to some option cards. So I'm playing 2 Full Moon Meteor Impact. If your opponent has 12 cards in your hand, this is it's Megadeth. It's 5 cost, return a guy to the hand. And I think this is a great removal piece. If you have Mirage Galgamon on the field, this card's even crazier. So blue deck, control deck. So we're playing the one of Ice Wall. Ice Wall is Ice Wall. We know why it's here. Slow down those fast decks. And then my last card for the deck, we're playing 1 X Antibody Proto Form. Originally, I wasn't playing any X Antibody, and I was toying around with the idea of playing the original X Antibody option card so that my Magnamon X could not be source stripped. And I would be doing that if BT16 Magnamon worked the same way, but it does not. He doesn't care about the X Antibody option cards. He only cares about armor form or Magnamon X and his traits. So we're going to be using X Antibody Protoform for the foreseeable future. At this point, I'll segment into the interactions part of the deck profile and show you some of how this card works in the deck and how good it can be. So now moving on to the interaction portion of this video, I'm going to show you how you can utilize X Antibody Protoform for some great interactions. So here, we're going to move this Vmon into the battle area. Then we can Digivolve into our Magnamon for a reduced cost of 1, so this will be for 2. And then from here, you can use your X Antibody Protoform and place it on the field. It doesn't go under the Digimon yet. And then you can declare that you're Digivolving into Magnamon X, and the Protoform will then go underneath your Digimon, and you Digivolve for 1 less also. So this Digivolution only costs you 3. The great interaction with the Protoform and Magnamon X Antibody is the fact that Digimon lets you choose the order of how your cards resolve. Our inheritable reads, when this Digimon will leave the battle area other than by one of your own effects. From this Digimon's Digivolution cards, return 1 Digimon card to the hand and play 1 X Antibody on top of your security stack. Let's say your opponent's like, okay, we have to get rid of that Magnamon. they're going to point kill spell at Magnamon. Now, when Magnamon would be deleted, he goes to the security and prevents deletion. But what if we use the protoform first? We are going to use our protoform ability. So from our sources, we're going to return a Digimon to our hand. Let's say we take this Vmon back to our hand. That way we can use it later. And then protoform goes to security stack. Now we're at 6. And now our Magnamon X says, "Oh, I'm trying to be someone's trying to delete me." So I'll go to the security stack, prevent deletion. Now you still have your Magnamon, and you're suddenly at 7 security from 5. I still only play it at 1 because we only have 4 X antibody Digimon in the deck, but I think the card is really good, and I'm planning on playing multiples of it whenever we get the new BT16 Magnamon. So let's say your opponent is attacking your final security. You have a Vmon on board. Your final security is starter deck Magnamon. You can then Digivolve one from any Digimon. Digivolve your Vmon, and now you have a blocker. So if they have a second attack, you can then block. From then, they have a third attack. You're able to blast into the Zudomon Ace. Probably return a guy to the hand, save yourself, and then when turn comes back around, you can go into a level 6, be it your Magnamon X, your Mirage, whatever you need for the time. So now I have some other cards in the deck that you could play based on what you prefer. So mental training is good to look for blue cards. I'm not playing it because I chose to play the Death X and Shadow Serafi instead. Mental training can kind of miss those cards in Chimeramon, so I chose to cut this card. But it is good consistency card, still a good card. You can play Lydramon, Digivolves for cheap, so still not a bad card. I just play Magnamons instead. You can play the Jesmon GX to go over the Magnamon X, put a Magnamon on sources, get its When Digivolving effect. Lots of crazy things can happen with this card, but it's a little non-synergistic with the control variant, so that's why I'm not playing it. Same reasoning behind the Fire Rocket. Fire Rocket is definitely playable, good card, but this is not a rush deck. This is a control deck, so that's why I'm not playing the Fire Rocket. But if you choose to play Fire Rocket, I wouldn't fault you for it. It is a great card. Another option is the Gold Vidramon. So it's another armor that can Digivolve for cheap. Gold Vidramon isn't bad, but it is an option if you are maybe missing some of the cards. And then the last option is another Searcher Vmon. If you don't like jamming Vmon in the deck, this is another Vmon that can be played instead. This one is on play, reveal top 3, and add something with free in the traits to your hand, and put the remaining on the bottom. So he's a Searcher. He's good for consistency if you choose to play him over the jamming Vmon. So some side notes and things to be aware of. Cards that have free in their trait. So this looks for a free and adds it to the hand. For this Vmon, you have to discard a free or an Imperial Dramon to be able to draw 2. Magnamon X does not have free in his traits. So you can't search him from your free searchers. You can't discard him to draw 2. Keep that in mind when you're playing this deck. He is a vaccine. Secondly, Shakamon. He is a free. He has free in his traits. He's searchable off of Vmon. You can discard him if you have too many to draw 2 cards. Thanks so much for checking out the deck. It is definitely my favorite to play. There's so many cool interactions you can do with it. As far as competitiveness, the deck is very fair. It doesn't do anything that your opponent would consider is overpowered. Not until BT16 is out anyway. I'm taking it to a regional at the end of this month. In a previous iteration of this deck, I also took it to a regional and placed 35th. That was during the EX4 format. Really good time. Had a lot of fun with the deck. Had a lot of compliments because it wasn't a lot of people playing it. Now I'm expecting to see a lot more armor players since we just got more support. But I believe they're all playing most of them playing the aggressive variant. So I'll be taking this control variant and I'll let everyone know how it goes. So thanks for checking it out. We'll see you next time.